Hello. In this video, we're going to cover some common issues that occur with query menus in SRDs. Here are the three issues we're going to cover, and we're going to do small demos on each one of them. The results that come back from a query menu can be affected by the max entries returned by getList value. If that value is set low, or you're querying something that has a lot of results, several thousand results, the results will be truncated. The recommendation is to update the query menu qualification so that not so many results are returned. That will allow all the results to come back, and it will be a better experience for the end users. The other scenario that can occur is non-admin users don't have permission to the form that's being used in the query menu. And the last one is the sorting of the data in the query menu. So let's get to our demo. So in my SRD here, I'm going to request this. I'm expecting 5 or 6 values to come back for these, and we see each one is only returning 1. Now, for the purpose of this demo, I've got max entries returned by getList set to a very small value here, just to show how it affects the menu. So I'm going to set it back to what would be the default value. And now when I go back in to that SRD, we see now that I get the full list of values back for each one of the menu items. They're all there. So that is the first scenario that can occur. And as I mentioned, the recommendation is to not present a list that's so large to the users so that the end user experience is better and all the values are there. So the recommendation is to update the query to be more specific. For the second scenario of a non-admin user not seeing all the values that are available, I'm logged in here with the non-admin user, and if I go to this menu here, we see that nothing is there. This menu, there's values there. Now, the reason that is occurring is this one menu is built against one of the CMDB specific forms. So, and the user I've got is just a typical end user. So this user would not have permission to it's one of the BMC core forms. He would not have permission to see it. So that's something to take into account. You may need to either get the data into another form that would have public permission, or if needed, you got to update the form permissions so that this user can access it for the query menu. So the third item is the sort order. So the sort order is going to be defined based on the value set on the form in Dev Studio. So if we come in here, and this support role, I'm going against, I believe it's CTM support group functional role, and we'll see the list. I'm returning login ID. You notice that the values, Alan, Francie, Mary, then it goes to Ian and Bob, they're not alphabetized. They're sorted by support group. That's the default sort on the form that I'm using in the query menu. So the values returned here, if a different sort order is needed in the values returned in a query menu, the form itself in Dev Studio would need to be updated. The sort fields would need to be updated so that they'd match what you wanted here. Now, obviously, that's going to have other ramifications as well, sorts in just searches or anywhere else. But the results in the query menu are going to be returned based on a sort if there's a sort defined on the form in Dev Studio. So that's another scenario that can occur, and there's if you want to update the sorts, you can. It's not necessary, but that could just be the reason if users are asking why these things, like they're not sorted alphabetically or in a certain manner, they're going to be sorted based on what's there in Dev Studio. So those are the three scenarios we covered. Just to recap, the areas we covered: the max values, recommendation is to not necessarily increase that, but make your query menu more specific. Non-admin users not having permission to the form. You're either going to have to get the data in a form that's public permission if you want to, not update the default form permissions, or the form permissions are going to have to be updated. And the sorting of the data, that's going to be based on any sort field defined in the form itself in Dev Studio. So if that needs to be changed, you can update it there as needed. Thank you.